you are a current WagerTalk TV subscriber, a fan of the extensive amount of free betting information we release, or a client of one of our incredible lineup of handicappers at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, we thank you. Thanksgiving is a holiday loaded with traditions, and we started one of our traditions years ago. Get a 7-day all sports, all access from any handicapper for just $69. That's under $10 per day and just $10 more than a 3-day all access. So whether you're traveling, have a house full of relatives, or just sitting back relaxing with an incredible week of sports, you can do so with the convenience of a 7-day pass. There is no coupon needed, and you can choose as many services as you'd like. This Thanksgiving special will be available through Cyber Monday, November 28th, all for just $69. Thank you again for being part of the WagerTalk and Sports Memo family.
Go Canada! Welcome everybody to Wager Talk Today, where we cheer the Canadian soccer team on. 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm pumped. I'm Lawrence Presman. That guy, Steve Merrill, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Steve, are you as excited about the Canada-Belgium game as I am? I mean, just lay it out. Lay it out.
Oh, I thought it was Canadian Thanksgiving, maybe. couldn't remember when Canadian Thanksgiving was, so I thought that's why.
That seems completely appropriate, yes. I don't want to...
get this shirt on.
Yeah, Canada Thanksgiving, the day before American Thanksgiving. Yes, Steve, that is correct. We do actually have Thanksgiving in Canada. Did you know that?
No, I know you do. I just didn't know what day it was. Is it today?
Nor do I. It's in October sometime. Yeah, I have zero clue. Guys, we got a great show for you all. Adam Trigger coming on. He's talking Missouri and Arkansas in college football, Utah and Mississippi State in college basketball, Kelly Stewart, the Buffalo-Detroit Lions game, and K-State. Kelly loves K-State. And, of course, Art Dicesare at the end of the show. I'll be reading the chat. So if you guys have any questions, I'll try ask them if they're good. Other than that, Steve Merrill, are you pumped to do this show with me?
I am pumped, and I thought the new format was you throw it to me, and Teddy explains who we have on. Man, and you just blew...
Don't freaking Teddy me, man. Don't channel him. This is a day without Teddy. Don't
you cheated the viewers Teddy. Of such Prez, you cheated the viewers of such excellence. I had this planned to say we have a wonderful show today, folks. We have Adam Trigger is going to show us how to make the best pumpkin pie in your house. He's also going to talk a couple college football and basketball games. Kelly Stewart's going to let you know when your guests have had too much to drink, signs to look for. Also an NFL game and a college football game. Art Monteris is going to have that battle between stuffing and dressing. What's the real term? And then the presidential address. What do Canadians do on their day off? We'll have an actual Canadian talking to you live here on Wager Talk Today. Prez, it's a great show. Back to you. But, we can't do that because you did not follow the protocol.
We definitely can't do that. Do you like pumpkin pie?
That was my other question. It was like, do you prefer sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie? I like them both. I've always actually really liked pumpkin pie, but I've had a good sweet potato pie. I'm not sure anybody in Canada has ever had a sweet potato pie, but it's pretty darn good as well.
Yeah, I will never eat a sweet potato pie. I actually hate sweet potato. Cole Radcliffe shows up. Hey, Prez, greetings from Alaska. Been a huge fan of your content for about 3 years now. Cole, shout out to you, brother. I wish I was in Alaska right now. Unbelievable heli skiing going on there. Steve, I was at the ski store. I got a sick ski season ahead of me, bro. Early February, you'll be covering for me. I'm going to Crested Butte for 6 days of skiing. Late January, I'm off to Lake Louise for 3 days of skiing. And the entire month of March, from March 6th to April 3rd, I rented a chalet in Whistler. That cost a hell of a lot of money, by the way, but 28 days of skiing. So if anybody is in Whistler in March, hook me up. Let's not hang out. It's so funny, Steve. Speaking of that, and then we'll bring Adam in. You get these guys like DM you privately in Twitter. Hey, Prez, I see you're going to Vegas in 2 weeks. Want to have dinner? The answer is no. No, I don't. Now, I love you and I appreciate you logging on and watching our shows, but that doesn't mean I want to have dinner with you. When I go to Vegas, I go dark. I don't want to have dinner with anybody. If freaking Jerry Garcia was around, I wouldn't have dinner with him in Vegas. But I will ski with you if you're in Whistler. So if you're in Whistler in March, hook me up. Adam Trigger! So what is the secret in your pumpkin pie? Pumpkin?
Prez, first of all, not only do I not know how to make a pumpkin pie, I would never eat that. I think it's disgusting, but I'm a man of the people. I met a couple WagerTalk people out in Vegas last weekend, and if I'm ever around you, DM me, I will hang out with you. Man of the people here, Prez.
Dude, I'm a man of the people too. What people don't understand is when I go to Vegas, I don't want to hang out with Marco or Teddy. Like, I want to go dark. Like, I play 12 to 14 hours a day of poker. I have no interest in eating at great restaurants. I have great restaurants in Toronto. I have no interest in going to bars. All I am is a pervert who stares at women that I can't have. And I don't want to go to strip joints, although I have an incredible strip joint story for you one day from Las Vegas. I think that is the stupidest thing in the world. I freaking hate strip joints. So it's not a people thing. I just don't want to talk to anybody when I'm in Vegas. I want to just be quiet and focus on my mental health, because that, by the way, Adam, is what poker is about for me, my mental health. It's an opportunity. My brain doesn't stop moving. Why do you think I have an interruption problem? I interrupt dude, I interrupt. Go Canada. See, I interrupted myself. So the only way I can quiet my mind is to play poker. It's my meditation. It's not against anybody. It's just, I don't want to hang out with people when I'm in Las Vegas. Steve, any thoughts?
No, I was going to say, what is the over-under for how many times Teddy would have lost it already on today's show? At least 2.5?
Oh, don't even mention his name. Let's move on. Teddy Schmetty.
3. It's gone over the total, folks. 3.
Just Spain, Costa Rica, all over again. Yep.
Trig, you're having a nice hair day, dude.
I actually didn't even look at the mirror before I got in here. I've been really busy. So I don't know if that's sarcastic or not, but we'll go with it. Yeah. Listen, Prez, it's college basketball season. Yep. It's college hoop season. We got football going on. I don't have time to worry about my hair right now. So hopefully it's acceptable for this show. Yeah,
he's got a pumpkin pie to make after the show also. So, why do your hair up? He'll have a hairnet on. By the way, speaking of hair, that might be what bettors learn. That was actually going to be the Steve segment, is should I throw it out for Thanksgiving and the rest of 2022? Because this thing is matted down, Prez.
The answer is yes.
Not cut since July.
Throw it out,
Since you guys saw me in July and August, it was like a month short. You can imagine what it's at now.
Throw it out. You'll become Steve Merrillberg. Fully on Wilson writes, shout out from the Bahamas. Dude, I'm jealous of these people, man. That guy lives in the Bahamas, the other guy in Alaska, and I'm stuck in this shithole Toronto.
You could have dinner with them if you went to the Bahamas.
What?
You could have dinner with them if you went to the Bahamas.
I would. I'm a man of the people. I'm not in Vegas. I would have dinner with him in the Bahamas.
Oh, it's just Vegas. Okay.
It's just Vegas.
People could have dinner with you in Whistler?
Yeah. Come.
Oh, I didn't get that part. I don't think, Adam, you didn't get that either. I thought this was anywhere out of Toronto.
No.
See, that's like, if I'm in Vegas, I want to hang out with people. When I'm home, I don't want anything to do with anyone. If I'm in Vegas, I want. So I'm the opposite, Prez.
We're going to get to some actionable info, guys. Just to let everybody know, I got a kick-ass daily presidential address for you all. We do need 100 likes. Adam, Missouri +3 versus Arkansas. I was on Arkansas last week. It worked out well. How do we bet this game, my friend?
Yeah, Prez, that was a great bet. I actually gave Arkansas out on the college football show as the best bet last week. And I think last week was the week to bet them because I don't think Arkansas is a great bet this week. I'm on Missouri +3. It's It's a 4% client play for me. And listen, I don't love the team needs to win, so they're going to win angle, but Missouri needs to win to get to a bowl game. And really, if you look at their schedule, they should have already gotten that win. The Auburn game comes to mind, a game that they had won and fumbled it into the end zone and fumbled it away somehow. But they're 5-6, and I love the way that their defense has played, really going on a couple months now. If you look at Missouri's schedule, they've really only had 2 bad games. It was Tennessee and way early in the year against Kansas State. And that doesn't look so bad now, that K-State game, with how good Kansas State has become. They played Georgia to a 26-22 final. I thought the defense played incredibly well against Kentucky. So Missouri defensively allowing less than 20 points per game at home this season. And it's really more, for me, a fate of Arkansas in what I think is an incredibly flat spot for the Razorbacks. Huge effort 2 weeks ago to almost beat LSU without starting quarterback KJ Jefferson. Last week, Prez, you already talked about it. KJ comes back, and you get a blowout win with Arkansas. They crush Ole Miss. They become bowl eligible. I don't know if Arkansas can bring the big effort needed 3 straight weeks in a row. And last time we saw Arkansas come out flat was at home against Liberty, and they lost as a 2-touchdown favorite. So I'm going to take the 3 points with the home team that desperately needs this one. But more so, I'm backing Missouri here because I think they're an undervalued team with a really good defense. And I think they're going to find a way to win this game and get that bowl berth. But I'm going to take the 3, but I think they're going to win.
Yeah, Adam, I was with you with Arkansas last week for my clients at WagerTalk.com against Ole Miss. So they have been a play-on team for me. I had them against LSU the week before they squeaked out that cover. So you're right about them coming off back-to-back big games. What I'm going to ask you, though, I'll ask you the Teddy. Can Missouri step up in class, though? Because they do have an impressive win against South Carolina. I mean, after what South Carolina did last week to Tennessee, I'd say that was somewhat of an impressive win. But the other times they've been an underdog since basically September, they lost big to Tennessee. They lost by 4 at home against Kentucky. They lost by 4 against Georgia, close loss. Lost by 7 at Florida. So they haven't really stepped up as a dog otherwise. Would that be a concern in this game that Arkansas is probably the better team still?
I suppose those results, it's definitely concerning because you're probably going to need them to win here. Not necessarily. Obviously, you're getting a key number of 3, and we could see a field goal game or something that lands closer. I do think if it came down to the end of the game, they might go for it. So that's something that works in our favor with the +3. But as far as Missouri is concerned, I mean, I thought they should have won the Kentucky game. There was a fumble in that game, Steve, that didn't go their way. That kind of allowed Kentucky to take the lead after Missouri had come back and taken the lead themselves. Playing Georgia to 26-22 really speaks for itself, in my opinion, in favor of Missouri. Of course, they should have beat Auburn. And they were going in for the game-winning score and fumble into the end zone, one of the sort of the highlight reel images of the college football season, at least early on. And, the Florida game was close enough. They were competitive enough there. So I don't know that I still go back to Arkansas coming out. I mean, they were down, 21-5 in the fourth quarter to Liberty. If they come out flat, I think something similar is going to happen here. And I think Missouri is going to want this one. So I'll go to battle with the 3 here, Steve.
Adam Trigger joining us, everyone. And what's going on with you? What do you have for our clients? You excited about Thanksgiving?
I mean, I'm excited about the games on Thanksgiving, Prez. I think it's just another day. I am looking forward to hanging out with my family. So that's a plus. But, I mean, it's a great feast week, Prez. Very underrated sports betting week. We got football going, NFL, college football, college basketball. So it's great for me because it's all the sports that I'm involved in. But yeah, just looking forward to hanging out, seeing my family, and hopefully cashing some tickets. I have 2 5% plays up. There's a great 7-day special for all handicappers. You basically, for $69, you get both 5% plays and then everything else I have. So a great time to take advantage of that. And I'm giving out 2 4% client plays on the show today. Since it's the giving season, Prez, I came prepared.
Well, that's good news. And guys, that promo is so good. $69 for anybody's 7-day all access pass. It makes total sense to buy. And today's the right day to do it. It goes all the way through the weekend, and of course tomorrow's Thanksgiving. There's no coupon code needed. If you want to grab Adam's play today, rather than doing that, grab the 7-day all-access package. We've got Utah at +6 against Mississippi State. This is in college hoops. How are you betting this game?
Prez, I'm going to take Utah +6, and I'm going to do this based on coming into the season. I thought Utah was a little undervalued. Brandon Carlson, one of the best players, in my opinion, in the Pac-12. And he's a guy that was sick last year. I believe he missed time. I think he had surgery early, like middle of the season. Missed some time. Still managed to average double figures. And he comes into this season fully healthy. And he's already off to a great start. 15.6 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game. He's a 7-footer that can shoot. Not many teams have one of those, a 7-footer that's really kind of capable of stepping out and hitting the outside shot. So I think that'll be a tough sort of game plan for Mississippi State. But really, guys, I'm betting here on Craig Smith, head coach of Utah, had a great run at Utah State. And I'm my thought here, guys, is that with Carlson healthy and with Craig Smith's coaching ability, he can take a roster that I think is full of really good effort guys and elevate them when they're in an underdog spot like they are today. And that's what, Mississippi State comes in. They've won all 5 of their games. But this is a relatively, I don't want to call it a rebuild because there's still a lot of talent here from last year, but it's a new coach, Chris Jans, his first year in Starkville. There's a considerable amount of roster turnover. And, he really played 4 sort of, I don't want to call them cupcakes, but definitely games where Mississippi State was the clear-cut better team, and then a Marquette team that I'm not particularly high on. So I think this is more of a test for Mississippi State on a neutral floor here, playing on back-to-back days than the line would indicate. And again, I'm betting on Carlson, the Carlson-Smith combo of 7-footer that's tough to guard, that can step out and shoot, that should be in much better situation than he was last year, and a coach that I really like while I'm getting 6 points, which I think is a just too many here. So I'm going to take the Utah Utes +6, 4% play for me. I think they hang around with Mississippi State today, and there's a good chance they come away winners here.
Yeah, Adam, you and I were on the college basketball tip-off show yesterday with Dave Koken, with Mr. Dave Koken. Prez, you'll notice the promo here says Mr. Dave Koken. Adam and I thought that was fantastic, but Master Adam Trigger and myself, Steve Merrill, were on with Mr. Dave Koken yesterday, and that show will be on again today at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. And I believe it's a Tony double play with Tony Mejia and Tony Finn. Joining myself, Steve Merrill, 2Rs, 1L, 2 o'clock Eastern here on the network. Adam, we talked about these tournament games. In fact, we had all 3 tournament games yesterday on the show. A lot of no West situations. You mentioned something that I agree with. You kind of stay away from these on average, and I probably don't use a lot of them as well because you get some weird results a lot of times in these island tournaments. You get the 2 or 3 games in 3-day scenario. Just a couple big picture thoughts on how you handicap these, some tips maybe for the viewers out there.
Yeah, I really I try to stay away from the MTE type events. And of course, I wish I stayed away last night. Syracuse +3.5, bad beat, overtime loss right there. Thought it was the right side. But I will get involved if I think a team is overvalued because of what you said, right? Like we're going to have some random results when, it's not really the norm to play back-to-back days in college basketball. Even when you get into the NCAA tournament, you've got a day off to regroup and prepare for the next team you're going to play. So you don't see many true back-to-backs. The only place you kind of do see them is these early season multi-team type events, tournament style games. And so that's what we're getting here. And I think it can be a little bit of an equalizer. And so that's another reason that I think the +6 is great value with Utah because, again, you're getting him on back-to-back days. And, both teams played close games yesterday. But if there is the factor of coming out a little sluggish, I think that might benefit Utah more than it benefits Mississippi State, who still relies a little bit more on athleticism, in my opinion. So +6 here with Utah, I think, is a great bet. And it's a 4% client play for me. Hopefully, we can stay away from overtime here, Steve, and just get a nice, easy win.
Adam Trigger, outstanding stuff, man. Listen, Ad, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We love having you on. You're on every week. You're so good at what you do. Congratulations on that. And, of course, you're winning for your clients, which is just awesome. Kick ass. Enjoy. Get out of here. Steve Merrill, Carmine Bianco's World Cup short. Let's go, Dan.
Hey guys, Carmine Bianco from Puck Time, but I am wearing my Canada Alfonso Davies jersey, getting ready for Canada and Belgium today. So here's your World Cup short. Canada and Belgium, we've seen some exciting games thus far in this tournament, a few upsets, including this morning, Japan beating Germany. I'm not sure if there's going to be an upset in this one, but I'm sure both teams are going to find the back of the net. So we are going to take Canada and Belgium, both teams to score, yes, minus 125 as your World Cup free play today.
Guys, that background on Carm's video is not an iPhone. It's a hockey rink. Steve Merrill, what did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting last night?
I learned that the public is backing a couple dogs on Thursday football and also one favorite. I'm going to give you a quick look here at NFL Fade the Public style here on WagerTalk TV on WagerTalk Today. You know, Prez, I always do an NFL Fade the Public video on Friday nights. We post it on Saturday afternoons. Don't forget to check that out this weekend here for this week. What is it? 12 of the NFL Sunday and Monday game. But we have a little bit of public sentiment in these three games. We're going to talk about the first game, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, here in a couple minutes with Kelly Stewart. But the public likes the Detroit Lions in that game, Prez. A little surprised because last week, the most faded team in the NFL was the Detroit Lions. The Giants were the most public side last week. I faded the damn public with the Giants, and I took the Lions. They won outright for the third straight game. Now they're up against the best team in the league who played in Buffalo last week. We'll see how that one plays out. We'll see who Kelly Stewart likes in just a moment. Public also leaning towards another dog on the New York Giants. Found this one interesting, Prez. As I mentioned, they lost with the Giants last week as the most public play of the week, and they also faded the Dallas Cowboys last week and got smoked. Another best bet for my clients at WagerTalk.com was the Dallas Cowboys, yet they're backing the Giants again this week. The public cannot get off a big dog with a winning record. A little bit of a lean towards the Giants. And the most public sentiment looks like the Vikings, which once again is a little surprising because the public got smashed with them on Sunday, backing them against the Cowboys. Vikings getting over 70% consensus in most of the places I look at. So we got that a little advanced public betting report for you for Thursday NFL. Both the Lions, a big dog, Lions a heavy public dog, Giants a lean as a public dog, and the Vikings looking like a pretty public favorite on Thursday, Prez. And we'll get Kelly Stewart's thoughts on that first game here in just a moment. What are your thoughts, my man?
Brother, it's so interesting, the Vikings, 70%, as you say, public betting on the Vikings, and yet that line has dropped. I mean, it was initially for a second 3.5, then 3, now 2.5. Always fascinating. Steve, I was on Puck Time earlier today. Guys, check it out. What an incredible show. Carmine, Andrew, and myself. Somebody asked me if I like the band Rush. I said, no, I'm a deadhead hippie. Then they said, Prez, narcissism is not part of the deadhead hippie family. And I would like to say the Grateful Dead are probably the most narcissistic band of all time. They literally jam for 15 minutes. If that's not musical masturbation and narcissism, I don't know what is. Kelly Stewart, how are you?
With that, Kelly Stewart, folks.
Yeah.
Catch those tickets. We're talking about masturbation before 1 p.m. Eastern. Love it. Welcome to Wager Talk Today. This is why Bet On is the #1 watch show at Wager Talk because, you know, we talk about sports betting.
Oh, yeah.
Because you follow us.
So
you follow us,
Kelly, a partner of Wager Talk and a dear family friend of Wager Talk, gets on the show and insults us. Excellent.
We love you.
Your intro to her was narcissistic masturbation is how you led into Kelly Stewart, folks. I mean, she could have gone a lot rougher. I know Kelly. She could get rough.
In my defense, thank you.
Kelly, how much Viva are you going to be drinking tomorrow?
I actually only have 3 cases left. You know Canadian Ben. He came down to visit. Ariel Epstein came down to visit. I had 6 cases, and we got rid of 3 of them in one weekend. So I only have 3 cases left. Take Thanksgiving. I did get some nice Camus wine, though. Of course, they put me in charge of the booze.
I love your backdrop. Is that a green screen or is that real?
No, I finally got my built-in shelves, and I just need to find some stuff to put on them. But this is the best part, Prez. My best friend got me this last year for my birthday. I've been waiting to figure out where I could put it, and it's very fitting. You talk about narcissism. You and I both need this little placard, so we'll just save some time and assume we're both right.
Yeah, well said, Kelly. Well said. Okay, so we got the Lions go home playing Buffalo. A fascinating line here. Buffalo, historically, at least over the last 2-3 years, they annihilate these lines. When you see -9.5, -10 for Buffalo, it's as close to a guaranteed against the spread W as you can have. Yet Detroit is so feisty. They're an ATS machine, covering machine. I'm fascinated. What do we do in this game?
Yeah, I knew Steve was going to say this was part of his Fade the Public segment. I've been there before. Guess what? Unfortunately, sometimes the public does win. And I'm going to take the Lions here, Prez. I actually gave this out yesterday on Bet On It. We did a special Thanksgiving segment. I took the +10. I still like them at 9.5. At 9, it's probably time to just stay off. But at 9.5, I think this looks like a 7-point game. And the reason why is because Josh Allen, right? Now, lots of people say, well, they just played in the stadium last weekend, but they still elected to fly home. They wanted to keep that continuity, practice at their stadium. They're going to go back. Obviously, it's not a long travel, but it is still back-to-back road games if you'd like to look at it there. Josh Allen, though, big wild card here. And normally I wouldn't say this, but Detroit's defense has been so good as of late, Prez. And granted, they played New York and they played the Packers, and the Bills are a whole other animal. But the key to Josh Allen and the Bills winning games is him not turning the ball over. And what has he been doing? Well, he's been turning the ball over a lot this season. And I think that this Lions defense can force those turnovers. And we know that they can go toe-to-toe and keep this in single digits. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win this game, but I do think that this is too many points for, like you said, a really scrappy home dog. This team has nothing to lose, Prez. And we talk about this often as far as situations go. And the Bills, they're still fighting for a home field advantage after losing to the Vikings. So something here, like when you kind of have to become, when you're the hunter versus the hunted, it's always an interesting mentality to see how things end up panning out. And when I saw that 10, I had to gobble it up on Tuesday morning. So I took it. I still do like it at 9.5, though.
Look at Kelly using the term gobble it up. I don't even think she meant to do that. That's fantastic the day before Thanksgiving. 10 to 9.5, though, Kelly, big difference. So we'll see how that plays out. About 5% chance probably Buffalo wins by exactly 10. It's a pretty key number. So she did put it out at +10, still likes it at +9.5. I want to switch focus here to a little college.
7.5, Steve. So that's the only reason why I do say that. But thank you for making sure that people understand the importance of key numbers.
And I'm pretty sure you'd also say don't buy the half point. Try to shop around and find a 10 or wait till kickoff. And normally I'd say we get a 10, but like I said, Detroit's looking pretty public, so we might not end up getting that. We'll see what happens on a kickoff. K-State Wildcats. Tell me about your K-State Wildcats.
So I'm going to have a few other best bets when we do Bet on it later today, but I wanted to touch on this game because so many people have asked me about it, including the gentleman that went before me, Adam Trigger. And I saw in our group chat right after that he had elected to take the Jayhawks. So appreciate Adam listening to me on this one. But there is something about this rivalry that everybody needs to know. There has been a precedent set my entire adult life and even probably into my childhood. KU is good at basketball. K-State is good at football. And what happens when K-State goes to Allen Fieldhouse during basketball season? They usually get throttled because Bill Self understands a precedent. Bill Snyder understood the precedent. And guess who's taken over that same precedent? That's right. Chris Kleiman has covered all 3 games against this KU team and fine. No disrespect to what KU has been able to accomplish this year, but most of those, I would say, competitive wins have been on the road. West Virginia, Houston, those are not teams that really can hang out with Kansas State. K-State currently 26-11-1 against the spread. Now, again, K-State knows what is to be done here, and that is not to be looking ahead to the Big 12 championship game. It is to absolutely throttle this Jayhawks team, whether it's Bean or whether it's Daniels. I don't think it matters. we saw yesterday, this KU team has been brought back down to life and brought back down to life hard. They have been outscored in their last 2 games, just gotten killed, 98 to 42 point deficit. And I think that's what we're going to see here. Drew Martin Betts actually asked me about this game as well. And he said, Cal, what do you think about the total? And I said, well, I can promise you this, K-State's offense is going to be able to get there to help you out. KU's offense, we're going to find out here. Like I said, Daniels looked really rusty last week versus Texas. We'll see if he can't come out of his shell here. Maybe he wasn't 100% and they elected to play him. Could be Bean. I have not heard definitively of a starter for Saturday, but either way, I do like the over here as well. Steve, I made the game 41-42, which is right on the total, but I do think that something wonky is going to happen. KU keeps no tricks in the bag when it comes to the K-State games. You will see something crazy here, kickoff or a punt return for a touchdown, pick 6, something fun.
Kelly Stewart, everyone. Kel, you're as good as it gets. We love having you on. Real privilege for both Steve and I and all the listeners. Real quick, because we are up against it. Art Dicesare is waiting in the wings. What do you have to promote?
Ooh, lots to promote this week. Let's see. We've got Bet on It following right after this. We've got some really good TNA on that show from Ralph Michaels. I'm excited to get some props for Thanksgiving from Ariel Epstein and Andy Lang. And every game on the board. Then I've got the hustle tonight. Basically, I'm working until start driving south for Thanksgiving. It's going to be a very busy day.
Kelly Stewart, everyone. Steve, I got to tell you about the story of Bet on It. So the NFL presidential address, the very first YouTube show WagerTalk ever did, it was me alone. Then I got Kelly. Then they decided to do Bet on It, and they stole Kelly. So I got Andy Lang. Then they stole Andy Lang. I'm like the feeder to Bet on It. And yet, per guest, the NFL presidential address blows Bet on It away in viewers. Blows it away. Yeah. I see you, Kelly. Steve, it's time for your big game breakdown, brother. What do you got?
Let's do a little big game breakdown for Thursday NFL Thanksgiving football. Going to give you a 2-team teaser, and very rarely do I ever give out 7-point teasers. I can only think of a handful of times the last 20 years I've recommended that to my clients. Do a lot of 6-point 2-team teasers in the NFL only. We don't do them in college football. But there's a good situation to use a 7-point teaser, in my opinion, this Thursday in the NFL, because there are 2 games, and we get 2 of the best teams in the NFL below a field goal in a basic straight-up win situation. So let's take the Buffalo Bills at 12:30 Eastern down from 9.5 down to 2.5, straight-up win basically against the Lions, one of the worst, if not the worst, defensive teams in the league. And let's do the same thing on Thursday night, 8:20 Eastern. Could do it with New England up from 2.5 to 9.5. If you can get New England, by the way, from 3 to 10, I would do it. It's the other game, the 4:30 Eastern game, the mid game. Dallas, same situation. Let's take them from 9.5 down to -2.5. Now, the key in both of these games, and with all teasers, is you have to get 2.5 or less. 3 does not work. There's about a 9 to 10% chance NFL favorites win by exactly 3 points. So the whole purpose here of using a 7-point teaser, not a 6, is to get below 3 to 2.5 or less. So Buffalo and Dallas right now from 9.5 down to 2.5 would make an excellent 2-team 7-point teaser. You do have to lay -140 in most locations, but it's a mathematical advantage play. I mentioned that late game briefly. New England's currently 2.5 across the board. If you could get them from +3 up to +10 by kickoff or before you get the other teasers locked in, I would lean that way as well. Check out what bettors learned on Wednesday's Wager Talk Today with the Prez. As I mentioned, the public sentiment in these games, public is heavy on the Lions, so I like fading those public dogs. They're also leaning towards the Giants, so we get another fade the public bonus with this 2-team teaser, fading 2 dogs. Take the Bills and Cowboys down to 2.5 or less and get it done on Thursday. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Don't forget, 7 days for $69 all sports right now. No promo code needed at Wager Talk, or a fantastic deal on my page. Get the rest of November for free when you buy December. I offered this last week, and since I offered it 6 days ago, I've gone 12-2, 86% on all best bets. And people that got on board last week have gotten those for free. And you will continue to get November for free because you buy December, you get the rest of the month, the rest of the year for just $2.99. That includes November free. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Back to you, my man, the Prez.
Best big game breakdown ever. Just wanted to quickly, I don't want Ralph to feel like he was forgotten. Ralph was also on the NFL presidential address, and Bet On It stole him too. With that said, Bet On It is just spectacular. It's must watch. They do such a great job. Art Dicesare, why isn't it Merry Thanksgiving?
Prez, I have no idea. But you want to talk about narcissism? Look at what I'm wearing. You see it?
Oh yeah, Puck Time shirt. Nice.
For you, buddy.
Nice.
For you.
Yeah, that would not be narcissism in any direction. Art, I took Canada to win by 3 goals today. What do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, it was like it was a $5
soccer,
bet.
no club.
$5. I put $5 on it.
What's that pay, Prez? What's it pay?
I think at $5, I think paid $170. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not
85 to 1. 35 to 1. 34 to 1.
Art Dicesare, how exciting is the sports book right now, man? I mean, World Cup going on. I mean, it just must be nuts.
Yeah, Prez, I know we talked last week before it kicked off. Yeah, this is a great time of the year. Obviously, college football winding down, but you got rivalry week. You have NFL in full swing. Obviously, this is a great time for college basketball outside of March, and conference tournaments. You have Feast Week. You have just basketball preseason, quote-unquote, tournaments all around the country. Basketball tipping off at all hours. And obviously, the NBA and NHL going. So this is a really great time. A lot of fun, a lot of energy, and a lot of action, and busy for us in the back room. I'll say that.
So, Art, I want to ask you on a Thursday NFL Thanksgiving, normal Thursday, travel should be back now that COVID's done, so normal Thanksgiving Thursday, what's your handle like on these 3 NFL games compared to, say, Sunday night football, Monday night football, a big game on Sunday, etc.?
Yeah, Steve, it's interesting because obviously Thursday nights, you usually get a pretty good handle, these quote-unquote standalone games. But now you have 3 of them. And if you just even look at the slate of games this week, the games aren't that great. And the games on Thursday, tomorrow, Thanksgiving, are pretty good. I mean, Patriots-Vikings is an intriguing matchup. You obviously have the Cowboys on there, which you do every Thanksgiving, which is a national brand, and they're playing a New York team. And then the Bills, best team in the league. So I think the 3 games this year, with the matchups and some of the teams in there, we'll get a really nice handle on the games. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Art Dicesare joining us, everybody. You can find him at the Westgate. Nicest guy around. We really appreciate you taking time to do this, brother. Sunday NFL card. Any big bets coming in? Anything we need to know? Any actionable info we can get from you for Sunday?
I'll say this, and let me just throw one thing out there about the Thursday game. I think the most interesting one to me has been New England and Minnesota. We took sharp money on New England at 3, and then when we got to 2.5, and it has settled at 2.5, we took sharp money on the Vikings at 2.5. So we've seen sharp money on both sides. So I think that's a really interesting game from that standpoint. As far as Sunday goes, Washington has gotten a lot of love. Washington at home, they were 3. They were -3, -120. They got to 4. We even took sharp money on 4. Now we're at 4.5. So Washington, since they went to Heineke, has been a real darling for bettors. I think some people are starting to figure that out. And Atlanta, after they were so hot early in the year, ATS, kind of fallen off a little bit, some injury concerns. Green Bay at Philly is super interesting too. Obviously, Green Bay has been horrible this year. The Eagles, who finally lost the game but then bounced back. We've seen a lot of Green Bay money come in early in the week, but it's been public money at +7. But it hasn't made us want to move the line. It doesn't matter. We know Philly is going to be very popular in money lines. They're going to be very popular in teasers. We know eventually the Eagle money will come in, and usually it comes in from sharp bettors because the Eagles are a team that the sharps like to bet. So despite the early Green Bay money, no move yet.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier the Lions defense. Kelly was talking about them, how bad that defense has been. Keep in mind, they held the Packers to, 9 points? That's how much Green Bay has struggled offensively at times this year when you put it in perspective. And by the way, my Washington Commanders, my former Washington Redskins, not my Washington Commanders, as you know, 5-1 straight up, 5-0-1 against the spread their last 6. So you can see why they're getting some public sentiment, and the public cashed with them last week against the Texans as well. Arthur, I don't talk a lot of public, sharp square divide as much in college football because there is more sharp action, I believe, in college football. I do believe the public will probably be leaning towards Michigan a little bit. They always lean towards those top 4, top 5 dogs. Just curious about your action on that game specifically, Michigan, Ohio State, the biggest game of the year on Saturday, and also what else you're looking at in college football this week.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. You can't talk college football this week without mentioning that game. That game right now has really not seen a lot of action. We haven't seen anyone really want to come in and take a position on either side. Ohio State we have as a 7.5-point home dog. That's pretty much painted across the board. I'm with you. I think the public will be very happy to take Michigan with the 7.5 over, the quote-unquote key number, even though there really are no key numbers in college football. I think Ohio State will get some love as well. I could see real good split action on the game. I think the Notre Dame-USC game is really interesting too. I think the public will be on USC. I think sharper bettors will take Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been a really good underdog this year. When they're a favorite, they're horrible. But when they're a dog, they've been really good. And I think a little bit of a sprinkle on the money line could be interesting as well. And then, the Iron Bowl, not, as sexy as it usually is, but we've seen Alabama money come in already as high as 22 now, because obviously Auburn is really down and people feel the talent, despite Alabama really having nothing to play for, the talent is too big. So you now got Alabama over 3 touchdowns.
Art, what's the biggest position you've got in the World Cup?
It's probably Spain to win it.
They look good right now, boy.
Yeah,
5-0.
We took pre-tournament plus 900, so 9-1. We pretty sharp better came in and bet it. I'll say this though, Prez, the 2 favorites were just getting hammered all pre-tournament. That's Brazil and Argentina. I mean, Brazil was plus 325, Argentina as low as 4-1, and people just weren't scared to bet them. They didn't care what the price was. So you saw a lot of and listen, that's public stuff, obviously. But I would say Spain right now, but man, people were not scared to lay the favorite. And that's interesting too, because Argentina lost their first game.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Art, and I was talking to Carmine about this, Argentina right now is plus 150 to win the division. Guys, go make that bet. I'm telling you, that is an exceptional bet. Art, we have like 30 seconds. What do you have to promote?
Well, as always, guys, Westgate Superbook. Thursdays, we got minus 105 Thursdays. Come in, get the reduced juice. We even will have it tomorrow on Turkey Day. And come down, sign up for the app. Brand new users, bet 100, get 100. If you need anything, you come down, you ask for Arthur to Caesar. I'll be happy to help you with whatever you guys need. And guys, happy holidays, and it's a pleasure to be on as always.
Thank you, my brother. We're stuck at 99 likes, Steve. What do I do?
I haven't clicked it yet, so go ahead and count it.
No, I'm going to wait. I'm waiting.
It was postmarked before the deadline.
I'm waiting. Click it now. Click it now. Click it.
I'm getting there. Hold on.
Click it.
Pressure. Hey, by the way, Prez, real quick.
100. We're at 100.
Real quick, I was going to say.
After. Okay, guys, time for the daily presidential address. Real quick, I want to wish everybody a wonderful and incredible Thanksgiving. I hope you guys spend some quality time with your family, feel a lot of love, and really just freaking forget about sports for a day, okay? Watch the NFL if you want, but, man, just enjoy the time with your loved ones. Steve, we got 15 NHL games tonight, and I freaking love this card. Here's how this is going down. I am going to give my thoughts on every single game on the board in the NHL tonight. Let's start with Minnesota and Winnipeg. I like the under in that game. Carolina and Arizona. Take Carolina minus 2.5 goals. That'll give you some plus money. I think we're going to see a 4-5-1 hockey game. Florida playing the Boston Bruins. Bruins are 17-2 on the year. I like Florida at minus 110. Pittsburgh playing Calgary. I like Calgary at plus 112. Columbus playing Montreal. I like Columbus a lot here, minus 120. Buffalo and St. Louis. The only way to play this is the over 6.5. I like the Toronto Maple Leafs for a big upset win against New Jersey on a 13-game win streak. I like Detroit against Nashville at -128. I love Washington -1.5 tonight, especially if Oshie is coming back. I'm passing on the Edmonton, New York Islanders game. I like Dallas -1.5 tonight against Chicago. I like the Anaheim, New York Rangers game to go over the total. I like nothing in the Ottawa Vegas game. I love the over in the Seattle San Jose game. And I love the over in the Colorado Vancouver game. I know those are a lot of bets, but guys, I'm telling you, you could bet every one of those plays and you're going to have a winning night. I freaking love the NHL card. Steve, we literally have 1 minute before the software cuts us off. We'll see you on Friday. My brother, take us home.
Yeah, Prez, you're right. We will see you again on Friday. I'll be sitting in for Teddy Covers again Friday. We'll do this again Friday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, as we do every Monday through Friday, except tomorrow and Thursday, because it is Thanksgiving. WagerTalk TV staff deserves a well-deserved day off. Before we do so, though, 2 o'clock Eastern college basketball, 3 o'clock Eastern college football, 4 o'clock Eastern NBA show today on Wednesday, and then we'll be back Friday with a full slate as well. Don't forget to check out also Fade the Public and College Football Top 25 on this channel. Bet on it and the presidential address. Special thank you to Adam Trigger, Kelly Stewart, and Arthur Dicesare from the Westgate joining us here on today's show. We're off Thursday, back Friday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy the games, but more importantly, as Prez said, enjoy your family. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again on Friday.
Whether you are a current WagerTalk TV subscriber, a fan of the extensive amount of free betting information we release, or a client of one of our incredible lineup of handicappers at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, we thank you. Thanksgiving is a holiday loaded with traditions, and we started one of our traditions years ago. Get a 7-day all sports all access from any handicapper for just $69. That's under $10 per day and just $10 more than a 3-day all access. So whether you're traveling, have a house full of relatives, or just sitting back relaxing with an incredible week of sports, you can do so with the convenience of a 7-day pass. There is no coupon needed, and you can choose as many services as you'd like. This Thanksgiving special will be available through Cyber Monday, November 28th, all for just $69. Thank you again for being part of the WagerTalk and Sports Memo family.